When you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., you might think it's just your body betraying you, disturbing your rest for no reason. But what if it isn't random? What if those hours are a quiet invitation, a gentle nudge from your own mind to pause, to feel, to listen? The world is asleep, the city lights are dim, and everything that usually distracts you is finally silent. In that silence, you're given something most people never get during the day: uninterrupted space with yourself. That's where your truth hides. That's where your inner voice gets loud enough to be heard. You see, during the day, the noise never stops. Notifications, conversations, responsibilities, expectations, they fill every gap, leaving no room for reflection. But at 3 a.m., none of that exists. It's just you and the thoughts you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the dream you keep postponing because you're scared. Maybe it's the apology you never said because your pride got in the way. Maybe it's the realization that you're not where you thought you'd be in life. Those thoughts often surface when the world sleeps because your defenses are down. There's no pretending in that hour. There's only honesty. So instead of fighting it, instead of tossing and turning, wishing for sleep, sit up, breathe deeply, and lean into the silence. This is your moment to check in with yourself, to notice what's really going on beneath the surface. Your heart might be trying to tell you something your mind refuses to hear in the daylight. You might suddenly feel a burst of inspiration or remember something important that's been buried under your routine. Those moments aren't coincidences, they're signals. The key is to stop ignoring them. Think of it this way: between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the world is at its quietest frequency. The noise outside fades, and you can finally hear the internal rhythm of your own life. The ideas you've been chasing, the clarity you've been craving, they live in that space between your breaths, in that rare silence. Maybe you wake up with your mind racing about something you've been delaying. Write it down. Don't dismiss it as restlessness. Your mind knows when it's time to speak, and often it chooses that sacred stillness to do so. There's something profoundly powerful about being awake while the world sleeps. It's as if you're given early access to a day that hasn't started yet. You get to meet your thoughts before the world interrupts them. You get to meet your dreams before your doubts arrive. Use that time. Don't grab your phone or check the clock in frustration. That moment is a gift, an unfiltered conversation with your own consciousness. Have you ever noticed that the best ideas often appear at strange hours? The songwriters, the creators, the dreamers, they talk about those moments when inspiration hits at night or right before dawn. That's because creativity thrives in quiet. When the mind isn't competing with chaos, it connects dots differently. You might suddenly realize how to solve a problem you've been stuck on. You might understand why something has been bothering you for weeks. That clarity is rare during the day, but effortless at 3 a.m. Sometimes that wake up isn't just mental, it's emotional. You might wake up because something inside you feels unsettled. Maybe there's stress, unresolved sadness, or even excitement for something new that your conscious mind hasn't yet processed. Whatever it is, instead of running from it, let it speak. Sit still. Ask yourself, what's trying to reach me right now? The answers that come might surprise you. When you start viewing those early awakenings not as interruptions, but as invitations, everything changes. They stop being annoying and they start becoming opportunities. Imagine waking up and using those moments for gentle reflection, not overthinking, not spiraling, but simply observing. Maybe you write a few lines in a journal, stretch, breathe, or stare out the window at the still world outside. In those few minutes, you reset your mind before the noise of life takes over. That's not lost sleep. That's found peace. You might think waking up at that hour means something is wrong with your body or your schedule. But often it's your mind signaling that you're out of alignment with something. Your goals, your emotions, your purpose. The body listens to the mind, and sometimes it wakes you up because there's something unresolved that needs attention. Those moments of early wakefulness are gentle alarms, not from your phone, but from your inner world saying, hey, look at this. Don't keep ignoring me. In those quiet hours, time feels different. Minutes stretch. Thoughts slow down. There's no rush to be anywhere, no one to perform for, no pressure to be productive. It's just you in raw awareness. That's where real self-connection begins. It's not about meditation rituals or complex techniques. It's about awareness. The awareness that your mind is trying to communicate something, odds, that your body is reacting to your emotions, that your soul might be whispering directions you've been too busy to hear. And if you make it a habit, if every time you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., you take a few minutes to listen, breathe, and reflect, you'll start noticing patterns. You'll see how your mind always circles back to certain thoughts. You'll understand which parts of your life are quietly asking for change. You'll begin to hear the messages you once called insomnia, but were actually wisdom. So the next time your eyes open at 3:27 a.m. or 4:11 a.m., don't rush to shut them again. The world is asleep, but your consciousness is awake for a reason. That moment is not random. It's revelation disguised as restlessness. Listen carefully. The silence between those hours might be carrying the loudest truth you've been waiting to hear. Those early hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. carry a strange kind of magic that most people overlook. It's the hour when the world pauses, when the rush of life takes a break, and you are left standing in front of yourself. No distractions, no expectations, no noise. You don't realize it often, but this is one of the most powerful windows of your day. When the rest of the world is sleeping, you get to create, reflect, and build quietly. It's not about superstition or luck, it's about opportunity. At that hour, your mind is still pure, untouched by chaos, worries, or outside influence. What you choose to do in those moments can set the tone for everything that follows. Most people think greatness comes from hard work during the day, but true transformation often begins before dawn. The most successful, creative, and resilient people use those hours to think, plan, and align their direction. Why? Because early morning solitude gives birth to clarity. The thoughts you have between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. aren't the ones that come from pressure. They come from truth. You're not reacting to the world. You're shaping your own. When you take a few quiet minutes to stretch, write, or breathe deeply, you're not just filling time. You're programming your mind for purpose. There's something sacred about being awake when the world is silent. Every breath feels deeper. Every idea feels sharper. You can feel the air differently. You can hear your heartbeat clearly, and you can sense that time itself slows down. This is when your mind is most open. No social media, no deadlines, no noise. Just you, the darkness, and your thoughts. If you want to rebuild your confidence, start new habits, or create something meaningful, this is when your mind is listening. Instead of grabbing your phone or scrolling through endless distractions, try something different. Sit with your thoughts. Write down what you feel. You might find that ideas begin to flow naturally. Ideas you've been trying to force out all day. Maybe you'll find solutions to problems that seemed impossible yesterday. When you're awake at 3 a.m., you're not bound by the rules of the day. You're free to think in new ways. Your imagination runs deeper. Your emotions are honest, and your focus is pure. That's why some of the most brilliant ideas in history were born in silence, in solitude, in moments just like this. You could use that time to visualize where you want your life to go. See yourself already there. Not someday, but now. Picture your dream job, your improved health, your peace of mind, your happiness. The mind is a powerful tool, and the early morning hours amplify it. When you visualize in that calm state, your brain starts to believe it's possible. It plants seeds that grow throughout the day. Every action you take after that becomes a reflection of the vision you saw before sunrise. If your body allows, move a little. Stretch, breathe, walk outside, or just look at the night sky. Notice how quiet everything is. That stillness has energy in it, a calm power that you can use. Let it flow through you instead of rushing to escape it. You'll feel connected not just to your goals but to yourself. Sometimes, when you slow down enough to listen, your instincts start speaking again. They guide you toward the things you've been ignoring. They remind you of who you were before the world told you who to be. Maybe you'll feel a sudden desire to start writing, to draw, to build, to learn. Maybe you'll simply want to sit in gratitude. Both are equally powerful. Gratitude, when practiced in silence, resets your entire mindset. Thinking of what you already have instead of what's missing fills your heart with calm and your mind with focus. You stop chasing validation and start recognizing your own growth. That shift doesn't happen easily in daylight, but at 4 a.m., when everything slows, it comes naturally. If you make this a habit, you'll start noticing changes that others can't see. Your mornings will become more intentional. Your days will feel lighter. You'll walk with a quiet confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because you've learned how to center yourself before chaos even begins. This time becomes your anchor, a reminder that peace isn't found in escape, but in awareness. Some people say they're not morning people, but that label only limits them. You don't need to be a morning person to value the early hours. You just need to recognize their power. You don't have to wake up every day at 3 a.m., but when you do, make it count. Don't waste it on overthinking or complaining. Use it to connect to your thoughts, to your plans, to your purpose. There's something special about choosing growth when everyone else is resting. It's not about working harder, it's about aligning deeper. And perhaps the most profound part of it all, you begin to understand yourself differently. You see how much control you actually have over your mood, your choices, and your day. You stop reacting and start creating. The world might still be asleep, but you're already building momentum. You're already ahead, not in competition, but in clarity. You realize you don't need noise to feel alive, you just need intention. So when those quiet hours find you again, don't see them as interruptions. See them as open doors. Step through them. Pick up a notebook, close your eyes, breathe, think, feel. In that moment, you're connected to something powerful, your own potential. The rest of the world will wake up soon, but you'll already be ready. You'll already know what matters. And that awareness, born in silence, will carry you farther than any morning routine ever could. When you find yourself waking up again between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it can feel like an inconvenience, like your sleep has been stolen from you. But maybe, just maybe, it's not about restlessness. It's about revelation. Instead of cursing the clock, try to notice the quiet message behind it. The world is paused, even the air feels softer. This is the hour when you can actually hear your thoughts echo back to you. And if you pay attention, those echoes might carry answers you've been seeking for a long time. Most of us move through our days surrounded by noise, literal and emotional noise. We're always in motion, responding, reacting, running. But at 3 a.m., the world gives you a break from all that. The noise fades, and you're left with the one thing that rarely gets your attention, your inner voice. It's the voice that tells you what's wrong before you admit it to yourself. The one that reminds you of what you really want when you've forgotten. The one that keeps whispering your purpose, even when you've drowned it out with distraction. That's the voice that speaks loudest when everything else is silent. You might wake up with your heart racing, your mind spinning, or your chest feeling heavy. That's not random. That's your body communicating something your mind hasn't yet processed. Maybe it's stress you've been ignoring. Maybe it's guilt, confusion, or excitement that hasn't found an outlet. Instead of trying to push it away, allow it to exist. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to teach me? Often, the answers come when you stop demanding explanations and simply observe. Sometimes clarity doesn't shout, it arrives quietly in the dark. The early morning hours are powerful because they strip away pretense. There's no audience, no roles to play. You're not a friend, an employee, a parent, or a student. You're just you. Raw, unfiltered, honest. And that's why the thoughts that come then are pure. They're not filtered through fear of judgment or the influence of others. If an idea or realization keeps coming to you at that hour, it's worth listening to. It's coming from the deepest part of you, the part that remembers who you are beneath the noise of routine. Sometimes the reason you wake up at that time isn't because something's wrong, it's because something within you is ready to awaken. Maybe it's a passion you've ignored for too long. Maybe it's a decision that needs to be made, a boundary that needs to be set, a dream that's asking to be taken seriously again. That's why you shouldn't immediately reach for distractions when you wake up. Don't grab your phone. Don't turn on the light, just breathe. Sit in the dark for a few moments and listen. The silence has things to say if you're brave enough to hear them. You might realize that what's been keeping you up isn't fear, it's potential. Your mind might be restless because it's tired of being confined. It's trying to show you glimpses of what's possible if you just took a small step forward. The best decisions are often born out of those quiet awakenings. You think clearer when the world isn't demanding your attention. That's when new paths begin to reveal themselves. Slowly, quietly, but powerfully. And here's the truth. Most people never get that chance. They sleep through it. They silence their intuition, hit snooze on their inner calling, and wake up later wondering why they feel disconnected. But not you. If you wake up at that hour, you've been handed something precious, awareness. Use it wisely. You don't have to do anything grand. You just have to be present. Write down what's on your mind. Pour your thoughts out without judgment. The things that repeat themselves are clues. Clues to what matters, what hurts, what's missing, and what's waiting to grow. There's also something profoundly peaceful about being awake when everyone else is dreaming. It's like standing between two worlds, the stillness of night and the promise of morning. That space holds energy. You can almost feel your future forming in the silence. It's the perfect time to reflect on who you want to be and what kind of energy you want to carry into the day. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need honesty. Those early hours reward honesty more than effort. If you're carrying pain or confusion, those moments can be healing. Not because the pain disappears, but because it becomes clearer. You start to see what's actually hurting you instead of just feeling lost in the emotion. And once you name it, you can start to release it. Growth often begins in the dark, quietly, invisibly, beneath the surface. Just like a seed breaking open before it becomes a flower, your clarity often begins in the moments you least expect it. There's also a subtle sense of connection in that hour to life itself. When you breathe deeply in the quiet, you start to realize how much you've been holding in. You release tension without even trying. You begin to reset. The world hasn't yet demanded your energy, so you can reclaim it fully. That's not just rest, that's renewal. That's how you align your thoughts, emotions, and focus before the day even begins. So if you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., don't rush back into sleep as if it's a mistake. Don't drown that quiet voice with noise. Sit in the stillness and listen, even if it feels uncomfortable. The thoughts that surface then are not random. They're messages from within asking you to pay attention. You might find answers you've been chasing for months. You might finally understand what your next step should be. Or you might just feel lighter, clearer, more at peace, and that's enough. Those early hours are not an interruption. They are an invitation to reconnect with yourself, to hear your truth, to remember what matters. When the rest of the world sleeps, that's when your mind wakes up to its deepest potential. And if you choose to honor those moments instead of ignoring them, you'll find that they don't take from your sleep. They give something far more valuable in return: awareness, clarity, and quiet strength that carries you through the day ahead. When you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., you're not just waking up from sleep, you're waking up to yourself. That moment, that hour, that quiet pulse in the dark, it's not a mistake. It's life whispering, hey, you still have time. You still have power. You still have a chance to become everything you're meant to be. The world is silent, and the silence is sacred. It's in that silence that the strongest voices rise, not from outside you, but from within you. Yes, maybe you've been waiting for a sign. Maybe you've been asking, what should I do? How do I start? When will my time come? Listen, this is it. This is your moment. The clock doesn't just mark time, it's marking a call to action. So when you open your eyes at 3:47 a.m., don't sigh in frustration. Smile, because you've been chosen to witness the part of the day where transformation begins, the part where dreamers turn into doers. Imagine this. You sit there in the darkness, the world asleep, your thoughts alive. You say to yourself, enough. I'm done waiting for perfect conditions. I'm done waiting for approval. I'm done doubting what I know I'm capable of. You stretch, you breathe, and you decide, tonight I rise. That's the kind of quiet courage that changes lives. That's the kind of decision that separates ordinary from extraordinary. You've spent too long running from your own potential. Too long convincing yourself that you need more. More time, more confidence, more clarity. But what if you already have it? What if you've always had it, buried under noise, fear, and self-doubt? That moment when you wake up early, that's not your weakness. That's your inner strength knocking. It's saying, get up, you're not done yet, look around. The world's greatest ideas, the most profound art, the most powerful decisions, they were born in silence. Someone somewhere sat in their own 4 a.m. tired, uncertain, but brave enough to listen to their soul. And maybe that's you tonight. Maybe your breakthrough doesn't need noise, applause, or a crowd. Maybe it just needs your attention. You don't need a spotlight to grow. You don't need validation to begin. You just need to trust yourself enough to act. So when your mind says, it's too late, answer, no, it's early. It's the perfect hour to begin. Or think of this moment as a doorway. On one side is who you've been, tired, distracted, unsure. On the other side is who you could be, focused, fearless, alive. And the only thing you need to do is walk through it. You can't bring your excuses with you. You can't carry your comfort zone across. You walk through with courage, with honesty, with the belief that your story is still unfolding. You've been through pain. You've faced disappointments that no one else sees. But those moments didn't come to break you. They came to wake you. Every sleepless night, every overthinking hour, every silent tear was a conversation between you and your strength. And if you're reading this now, if you're breathing, you've already proven one thing: you're still standing. That means you're still becoming. Tell yourself, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm not giving up. Say it louder, I may have failed before, but failure isn't final, it's feedback. Look at yourself in that dim mirror of dawn and whisper, I'm still here, I still matter, and I still have time to rise. That's not just motivation, that's a declaration. You see, the world doesn't reward those who never fall. It rewards those who keep rising no matter how many times they fall. And rising doesn't always mean running. Sometimes it means pausing, breathing, realigning. Sometimes it means sitting in silence at 4 a.m. and saying, I deserve peace. I deserve purpose. I deserve to begin again. So, what should you do if you wake up at 3 a.m.? Don't fight it. Don't fear it. Feel it. Sit with it. Let your mind wander to the things that light your soul on fire. Let your imagination rebuild the dreams you've let go of. And then, when the sun begins to touch the sky, promise yourself one thing: that you won't go back to sleep on your life. The truth is, no one's coming to hand you your purpose. No one's going to chase your dreams for you. You have to decide. You have to be the one who says, this is my time. Because if you don't claim your mornings, your days will keep claiming you. The world will fill your mind with noise unless you fill it first with intention. So tonight, when the quiet finds you again, listen differently. Instead of frustration, choose focus. Instead of scrolling, choose stillness. Instead of asking, why am I awake? Ask, what is awakening in me? Because that question alone can shift your entire life. And one day, when someone asks you how you turned everything around, you'll smile and say, it started one night when I woke up at 3 a.m. The world was asleep, but my spirit wasn't. I decided to listen. This is your invitation to stop merely existing and start evolving. To stop chasing the day and start commanding it. To stop living small and start showing the world the power that's been hiding inside you all along. So rise. Rise before the sun does. Rise before your doubts do. Rise before the world tells you who to be. Because those who rise in silence end up speaking the loudest through their actions. Those who build in the dark shine brightest in the light. And those who answer the 3 a.m. call, they don't just chase dreams. They become them.